Sorry for being late.
Iga, congratulations. That was a good match from you. Can you just
Thank
talk
you.
through it a little bit today?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty happy that I was able to come back again this season from one set down. And for sure, I felt like physically I'm really well prepared and I could use all my strengths even after 2 hours of playing. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah.
Question, yeah.
Iga, it didn't seem like, sorry, after losing the first set, it didn't seem like you were that concerned with the way you finished that match. What do you think clicked?
Well, I knew that I'm playing good, and I think my level was high in the first set. I wasn't sure what to change actually, because usually I know what the solutions are. But today, I felt like I'm doing a good job, and some balls for sure I was missing, but it's because of the conditions here, so I kind of had to forgive that. And I mean, forgive myself for making those mistakes. But I think my coach gave me a pretty good coaching. So shout out to him because, it was like a really good tip that helped me. I'm not going to tell it to you.
Yeah.
You got congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Yes, talking about coming back from a set down, you've done it 4 times this year. I think you'd only done it 4 times in the previous 2 seasons combined. So what is different about you that you're able to make the adjustments, or is it just like you said, being kind to yourself?
Well, I think my work that I've been doing with Daria is clicking basically, and like mentally, I feel that I have more skills right now to just stay calm and think about solutions. Because before, I mean, I struggled with emotions a little bit, and sometimes I wasn't choosing the right path to change something. I don't know. After I lost the first set, I remember I wanted to be like more pumped up and have more energy and whatever. But right now, it's like more focused, and it's easier for me to find solutions, and like getting pumped up, it's not gonna help you sometimes. So I don't know why I was doing that, but I don't know, it was all pretty emotional. So when you have all these emotions coming, you kind of feel like your view is not clear. But right now it is much, much clearer for me.
Speaking of that, Iga, that focus that you have after those, drop a set or things like that, do you find that because you have a different philosophy or a different view or perspective on that situation, or are there tools that, working with Daria have given you, like things to think about, mantras, whatever it is?
I think tools and skills, but also I don't know, before when I was losing, I felt like my whole life is, bad, and the base of my existing is suddenly, destroyed because I'm losing a tennis match, And right now I have more distance to everything, and I can, see clearly. And basically I'm just more calm and more confident. I would say confidence is a key as well. But you also have to build it with some experience, So, I feel like it's clicking right now.
On court, you mentioned your conditioning coach as well. How has working on conditioning maybe impacted your mental strength on court? Do you enjoy doing that kind of work, like running? Can you clear your head, or do you?
I don't enjoy running, but I really like working out in a gym, and sometimes even it's nicer for me when I'm doing like preseason or when I'm in between tournaments to do conditioning training rather than tennis, because we've been playing tennis like a lot. So I really like conditioning practices, especially in the gym. Running not that much, but I'm not running actually a lot. We're more like doing specific practices for tennis, so it's not like I have to run for 30 minutes because we don't need that, right? So and I think my coach is pretty smart, and I think that's the key. Because he's a good specialist, and he really knows my body right now because we've been working together since 2020. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Players have talked about the difficulty of playing it in this tournament in terms of the condition. Some player might say ball flies too fast in the air, and somebody would say it's too windy or ball bounces too high. So how is the condition for you?
Well, for sure, the wind was crazy for a few days, so that's understandable. Yeah, I'm pretty happy that I wasn't playing in those windy conditions. I was lucky. But on the other hand, everybody has the same conditions, so you gotta work on that pretty well and not focus on that. And I think it's hard. For me, it's also hard because I tend to focus on the things that I don't have control on sometimes. But I know, I'm getting better at not doing that, but still. But the ball is flying pretty crazy. It's the only, I think, tournament where we play in that dry conditions, so the air is like, oh my god, how to explain it in English. I don't know why I started that, but yeah, you can Google it and see how it is when the air is pretty dry. Like the ball doesn't get much opór powietrza, how it is in English. I didn't. Yeah. So it's not slowing down, especially when you play. Yeah, I feel like I can't really loosen up my hand here. I always have to play like on hold for a little bit, but that doesn't mean that I'm not playing good. You just have to adjust more your game, and that's all. It's pretty tiring on court, but honestly, I'm pretty lucky that I play well in humid conditions, because we play most of the tournaments in humid conditions.
Yeah, good.
And I try to treat it as not as a problem, but as like a lesson, So, yeah.
A moment ago, you were saying that when you used to lose a match, it was almost like the world was finishing. So, the change that's happened, is it to do with you being a little bit older, with maturity, or is it more to do with the experience of being on the tour now on a more regular and frequent basis?
Both, I would say, for sure. And there are many other reasons. I realized last year that tennis is pretty unpredictable and anything can happen, because on some tournaments I really felt great and I was losing, third round. But on some tournaments, like in Rome, first two rounds were pretty. I wasn't feeling comfortable on court, and then I won the tournament. So, like looking at a wide perspective, tennis is pretty unpredictable. But also on that match, over these 2 hours, like a lot can change. So I try to remember that, and yeah, as I said, I'm just focused on finding solutions, and actually it is changing sometimes over these few hours. So, yeah.
Good.
Can you talk a bit about what it was like to face Clara? I think it's been a few years since you've seen her. Has she changed quite a bit, and what did you think of her game?
I think she's like, the placement of her serve is pretty smart. It's sometimes hard to predict where she's gonna serve, and she's serving pretty fast. So, that was tricky. And I think, I think you have to put pressure on her to. Because she likes, being aggressive as well and playing fast, and her hand is pretty like strong, and I feel like she was, hitting full power sometimes when I didn't put much pressure on her. So you need to do that, but that's the case with most of the players, honestly. But I'm pretty glad that at the end of the match I felt physically, I don't know how she felt, obviously, but I could see the difference in longer rallies, that I was playing more balls in. That's all I can say basically, because you know, I mean, I would have more to say if I watched that match, but I was more focused on my game, you know.
Courtney, do you have one more?
You'll play either Angelique Kerber or Daria Kasatkina. Next round could be like, almost, what, fourth straight tournament with Dasha, if that happens. I'm kind of curious, you haven't dropped a set to her this year, and those matches have been, you know, pretty, you've looked in control of them. What, do you worry about having to play a player that you've already played so many times, literally week after week after week?
I felt that in Doha actually, and I didn't know how to approach that match. You don't get like many situations like that in your season. So I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna work on it if she's gonna win. But yeah, it's pretty weird. I don't know who's making all the draws, but I mean, it's gonna be hard for sure, because all the matches that I played against her, the scores were totally different than how it felt, you know, because we were playing pretty long games, and she's pretty, you know, consistent when she's playing longer rallies. So yeah, so it's gonna be hard, and every tournament has different conditions. So I don't know. I would have to prepare for that match for sure. It's not like you win 3 times and now you're gonna win for sure. You know, that approach would be bad. So on the other hand, I want to treat it as any other match. Yeah.
Sorry. Just a question quickly about Tomasz. When he gives you or helps to prepare you for a match, what does that kind of look like in terms of scouting report? Is it super detailed? Is he keeping things pretty simple? Does he go to tape? Like, what is the process that you guys have worked out?
He's keeping it pretty simple. Our goal this season is for me to focus more on my game, because as I was talking in like previous interviews, I tend to kind of adjust to what my opponent was playing in previous seasons, and right now I feel like I have skills to actually, you know, be more proactive and play my game. So actually it is more detailed. Usually I'm the one who's like asking more and more questions about my opponent, and he's like, okay, let's focus on you. You know what you gotta do. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, because honestly I need that when I need to have like clear thoughts when I'm playing. So you don't want to overanalyze on court. Yeah.
Chris, did you have one more and then we're done?
Sure, yeah. The season's pretty young, but you played a lot of good tennis so far in these last few months. I'm just curious to know, if there's one thing you're most excited or maybe most proud of that you've done this season so far, what would it be?
For sure right now I would say coming back from all these sets down, but also implementing that new approach that my coach was, you know, telling me about. Yeah, these 2 things.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.